This is the On the Pony Express podcast, part of the On3 network. Check out all the SMU coverage you need at onthePonyExpress.com. Now, here's your host, Billy Embody. 1, 2, 3, let me go.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the On the Pony Express podcast. I'm Billy Embody. Thanks for joining me alongside Hayden Howerton, former SMU offensive lineman and East-West Shrine Bowl participant as well. And we have a special episode for you guys. We just did our schedule release podcast. We filmed that, recorded that, and now we're going to bring you guys this week some exclusive interviews from our time at the Shrine Bowl. And Hayden, why don't you give them a little bit of a background on your time at the Shrine Bowl and what this event means to you?
Man, what a special week. It was, in my playing career, probably one of my favorite weeks I've ever experienced. I mean, when I was playing in it, it was in Las Vegas, so it had a little more fun spin. Some guys got in trouble. I was not one of those guys. But no, you get there on Thursday, you have meetings on Friday, you turn around, you have practice 1 and 2 with, hundreds of scouts, media, general managers. They're all watching, all gathering around your one-on-one reps, because ultimately, yes, there's a game on Thursday night at AT&T Stadium, but what does matter is the practices. And so there is immense pressure and competition within those practices to prove, hey, I've got what it takes to play at the next level. And when I played in this game, in my offensive line room, it was all Power 5 guys, a 6'7" North Dakota State offensive lineman, and myself. So I definitely had a chip on my shoulder, being the lone group of 5 guy in my room, and I couldn't have had a better week, to be honest with y'all. Went out, I felt like I played really well. I got a lot of attention from scouts, and it ultimately ended up with me signing with the Titans, a team I did talk to during that week. But just have so many great memories of the guys that were on my team, the coaches that I had. The offensive line coach was actually with the New England Patriots this past year. Keep up with him a little bit. But it was just an incredible week for me, for my family, because Kara, my wife, got to go out there. My parents ended up meeting us out there, and I just couldn't have experienced anything better. Shout out to Eric Galko, the director of the Shrine Bowl. He does an incredible job just setting it up, making it really regimented, organized, because at the Reese's Senior Bowl, from what I've heard, it is a little bit of you're being pulled in every direction, where there is some control. Eric does a good job of limiting the NFL meetings / media to 3 hours in the afternoon, because otherwise you would be meeting until literally midnight. But it is long days. It's 6 a.m. to, still probably 8 p.m. So it feels a little bit like a 1-week training camp, but such an incredible experience. I'm so happy that there are SMU guys in this game this year. It was really fun talking to Elijah and Jared. I feel like they've put on a show as well. They've really helped their draft stock, but shout out those guys just taking, 10, 15 minutes apiece to talk with us.
Yeah, and before we do get to those interviews with Elijah Roberts and Jared Harrison-Hunte, we're going to lead off with Jared, but a quick word from our friends at the Thomas Auto Group.
Shopping for a new car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than the Thomas Auto Group. Browse our selection of over 2,000 vehicles from 3 great brands.
Watch this!
All online and in a few simple steps. Just click on the vehicle you want, save big on the most popular brands, and drive away happy. Plus, all vehicles sold are backed by the Thomas Promise. Visit our website, thomasautogroup.com, or shop in-store at the Thomas Auto Group in McKinney, home of the Thomas Promise.
And when you mention On the Pony Express, you do get employee pricing on new and pre-owned vehicles. So check out the Thomas Auto Group and all their dealerships. All right, Hayden, now it's time to go to our first interview. Jared Harrison-Hunte, a guy who really we haven't gotten to know as closely maybe as Elijah, because he's only been here 1 year, spent 1 year with SMU after transferring in from Miami. And boy, he had a heck of a run with the Mustangs, being able to go to the Shrine Bowl alongside Elijah. And for Harrison-Hunte, 42 tackles on the year, 18 of which were solo, 8.5 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks. He really boosted his draft stock throughout this season, and has a chance now to really shine for NFL teams.
He looked really explosive in the practice that I went to on Saturday. You could tell just early on he got out of his hips, and I was standing right next to Coach Tibbs, and we were both like, ooh, like just watching him explode, hitting that power clean straight off the ground, exploding through the chest of the guy that he was going against. It was really fun to watch him. But, man, boosted his draft stock, came in, became a first-team All-ACC guy for us. It was one of the gets in the portal for SMU and just completely changed the way that our defensive line dominated and really raised that standard that they had set in 2023. So definitely a big get for us. He's a Mustang for life now. When he gets his name called in April, hopefully it'll say Jared Harrison-Hunte, D-tackle SMU, and that's just unreal. I'm super happy for him. He's had a nice start to the week for sure.
All right, without any further ado, we go to Jared Harrison-Hunte. Welcome back to the show. Really excited now to be joined by SMU defensive lineman Jared Harrison-Hunte. Hey, you got that all-ACC recognition at the end of the season, too. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. You got that to hold over E-Rob's head a little bit, too.
I ain't holding nothing over nobody's head, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna lie, that was I didn't expect it, to be honest. I was kind of surprised when my coach told me. He just pulled me to the side and said, hey, like, you might be getting first team All-ACC. I was like, whoa, really? Like, I didn't think people thought that highly of me. So, and you can't get that from, like, your head coach. Like, you can't get that recognition from your head coach. You got to be all coaches, like, together. So I was really, like, proud of myself, like, for, like, you know, putting on the show this season and giving my all, trying to put my best foot forward for the league. And I was just excited, man. I was happy. I was happy that I made this choice to come to SMU.
We're at the East-West Shrine Bowl talking with you. Just wrapped up, Saturday. Obviously a long day. What's this experience like for you and getting out there and working with some of these guys?
Ooh, okay. So first, you just gotta get used to, like, always being somewhere, and that could just be media, talking to teams, treatment. Make sure you gotta get food. Like it's a busy schedule. It's a short time. We're only here for about a week. So they try to get the most out of us, in this week, and it's understandable. So it's like, you gotta get adjusted to, like, the pro life. Like, this is like semi-pro life. We're about to get into that pro life, so I just gotta get used to it.
Yeah, you're a professional athlete now. As somebody who played in this game, what does it mean to be out here against the best in the country?
It means a lot, man. I didn't know there was so many talented guys on this team. And I knew there was a lot of talented guys, but, like, gosh, like, going against them today, like, I mean, we did a lot of reps, we did a lot of, like, double teams and what's it called, one-on-one blocking, one-on-one, like, pass rush. It was just a whole bunch of stuff that kind of, like, made me open my eyes and realize, like, hey, like, I gotta keep building on, keep getting better, or else, like, some of these guys don't catch up and surpass. So I gotta just, every year get better.
You had an impressive run at Miami, and then you come to SMU. What was this past year like for you, and just being able to emerge and get that recognition, and now be here?
Man, coming to SMU was probably one of the best decisions of my life. I wish I would have came a little earlier. I'm so serious.
Yeah,
like,
me too. I'd have loved to play with you.
Yeah. Wait, when did you play?
21 was my last year. 17 to 21.
Oh well, yeah. Probably when I came that early, maybe. But that 2023 year, I probably should have wished I would have came. Probably would have came with E-Rob and them boys, and probably had a great year there too. But I don't regret making the decision, like, at all. Like, sure. I love my time in Miami. I made some great friends, some great met some great people. But here at SMU, in the short time that I've been here for about 6 months, I made even greater memories and had a better season and met some genuine people, like, on and off the field. So yeah, are you straight, bro? Yeah.
Working with this group along the defensive line, just how much did that make you, better in a sense? I mean, you were obviously an established player coming to SMU, but the depth and talent across the group that you guys had, what was that like every day?
Yeah, man. Like, to be honest, every day. It's kind of like a movie. Like, you just never knew what to expect from our D-line. Like, we just had so many personalities on our D-line. Like, it's kind of like just you're kind of excited to come in and see what's going to happen today. But, like, as far as, like, talent, like, we talk about Big Tank, like, he holds up the middle. And then it was me at that 3-tech and then E-Rob at the end. And then we had either Jafari or Turbo on the at the banner position, and they interchanged a little bit, and they both had their games where like one was better than the other one was better than the other. Like it was just like one of those days. And as far as like behind us, we had Corey Robinson at the 3. He was good. He was an explosive effort guy, very talented too. And then we had Uno, and then we had it was depth. Like if you took us out, like it wasn't gonna like change as far as like player level.
You're playing so close to Dallas here. There's a lot of guys sitting at SMU wishing they were in your spot. Who got snubbed?
Man, Jafari, man, he supposed to be here. I think he had a great season coming off from last season. He didn't play that much last season, but this season, man, he really was a spark for us. He had like game-changing, especially at Duke, that game-changing block. Field goal block, that was crazy. That changed our season. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Like, come on. I felt like he should have at least got an invite, got a chance to showcase his talents, and yeah.
Well, you're here now. There's a lot of great defensive linemen come out of this game that are in the NFL. Who do you model your game after in the National Football League?
I'm an old school cat, so I'll probably say like John Randall, even though he wasn't my height, but he was more of like an explosive, athletic, twitchy, violent kind of a guy, and that's something I try to like mimic. Also Aaron Donald, Dexter Lawrence, those are like current guys, Jaron Warren, like a whole bunch of guys. But as far as like the guys I model my game after, it'll probably be John Randall and Aaron Donald. I feel like they have the perfect capability of stopping the run and rushing the passer.
What's the early feedback you've gotten from NFL teams, and any that you've talked with that have really caught your eye as far as just your conversations or things like that?
There's a couple teams, man. Everybody's been generally nice. I feel like the Bills, the people I talk with, the Bills, the Ravens, Steelers, San Francisco. There's a couple teams that I've talked to that I feel like, I feel like we'll probably be a good fit. I mean, anywhere I feel like I'll go, I'll probably be a good fit because I'm gonna compete, gonna give high effort. I'm a coachable, and stuff like that. Yeah.
How much did kind of your career at Miami and SMU and going through different coaches and things like that help you to be open-minded to those different points of views or being that coachable? Is that something that you had to develop, or is that something that you always had from a young age?
I feel like I had to develop that, just from the fact that like as soon as I committed like to Miami, like I had a new coach, like a new head coach, which is Manny Diaz. So it was definitely something I had to learn. I had a lot of head coaches, D-line coaches, different kind of teaching styles. So I learned to like adapt to like different teaching styles and just adapt in general. Like just learn how to like go with the flow with somebody's teaching style and kind of just like learn in my own way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
For sure. Well, we love watching NFL Mustangs. We know that you're going to be one of the next ones coming out of this class, and we can't wait to see you at Pro Day.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck the rest of the week. Thanks for doing this.
Of course, man.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, that was such a great interview with Jared. Do want to remind you guys that we are also presented by Northwest Insurance Agencies. Call up Mark Villasana and not only talk SMU football because he's an SMU alum, but talk about your insurance rates and what he can do for you to help secure your future. You can call him at 214-352-5656 or email him markv@nwagencies.com, and he'll take a look at your rates, coverage, and tell you where you might lack protection and what he can do for you. So he's been a huge partner for us here at On the Pony Express, and we really appreciate him. All right. Now it's time to go to one of the guys that you could consider the mayor of the Hilltop over his last couple of years. Elijah Roberts came to SMU as an under-the-radar player and really was kind of an add-on with that group of Miami guys that came in before the 2023 season. Now you fast forward, and he is, Hayden, I think he ends up on day 2, maybe in the 4th round, but he is just so versatile, so explosive, and he's really had a big week at the Shrine Bowl.
The 2 big padded practices on Saturday and Sunday, he straight up dominated. It was low-key embarrassing for some of these other offensive linemen. Me being an lineman at heart, I do watch those guys a little closer, a little more critical, but Elijah, it was just hard to block on Saturday's practice. I had talked to Ben Sparks, Cam Irvin, and those guys were like, man, in the 2 years I was with Elijah, I don't know if I blocked him a single time. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but let's see if we can do it. at Shrine, and he's really showed out. I mean, he has a large bag of pass rush moves. He is very stout in the run game. He was jacking guys up where it was you had a tight end coming across as the puller, and Elijah would just stand firm. And he's proving that he can play anywhere. He can play stand-up D end. He can play with his hand in the dirt. He can rush over the guard on third down. I mean, he is going to be a highly touted prospect come April, where he's, I believe, the third highest graded defensive lineman in the country this year, behind Penn State's Abdul Carter, and I can't remember who was second, but that's pretty good company to be in. I mean, Abdul Carter is going to be a top 5 guy. Oh, yeah. So you look at Elijah and you just wonder, with that kind of versatility, with that kind of motor, with that kind of production during the last 2 seasons, I don't see him falling below the 4th round. I think that he can join Brandon Stevens, Rashee Rice, Kylan Granson as day 2 draft picks.
Yeah, and you'll see why, if you guys haven't been able to see it much of Elijah, why he's going to be on NFL draft boards and move up after this week. I think part of it, too, is, and you and I talked about this, just the mental aspect of it and just how really sharp he is as a person. So without any further ado, we give you our interview with Elijah Roberts. Welcome back to the show. Really excited now to be joined by SMU defensive lineman Elijah Roberts. E-Rob, great to see you again. East-West Shrine Bowl, you're getting started on your professional career. What's the start of this week been like for you as you start to take those first steps into being a pro?
Yeah, man, first and foremost, great to see you guys, of course, as always. Appreciate you guys for having me. And, yeah, man, it's been a grind. I'd probably say this week here probably be like the longest week of like the whole entire process. I mean, obviously I haven't been through everything else yet, combine, pro day stuff, but honestly, training, it's just training. It's not that bad. It's Monday through Saturday, getting up not too early, and then we get home every night by like 5 o'clock. So it's not that bad. Honestly, I'll probably say this week, with all the meetings, interviews, and stuff like that, is probably like the longest week I've had so far.
It's long days no matter what. Where are you training at right now, and how has that affected your performance today at the game?
Yeah, I'm training in Davie, Florida, Bommarito Performance Systems. Great training facility, man. There's great people there. Pete Bommarito is the guy that run it. He's crazy smart, and he's like really into like, just all the small things that you really don't really worry about when you're a college player, So I really appreciate them, and they've been helping me out, man. And I had a, somewhat decent day today, so hopefully I can keep building on that.
It was fun watching you today, for sure. I thought you looked really explosive out there. Can you talk a little bit about your journey from Miami? You come over to SMU, you're an instant impact player, but it wasn't always like that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, being at Miami, Billy probably knows the whole story. Man, I was there 3 years. Really just didn't get the chance to play. Obviously I played every year, but it's just my role never really got bigger. It was like 3 years in the same exact role, and it was more of like, how can I get more? Like how can I do more? Especially going into my 3rd year, I really felt like I was working so much in the off seasons that like I had gotten better. But then it was like every time season rolled around, it's like, damn, like did I really get better? Because it's like I'm not playing, I'm not beating or so-called beating out the other guys. So it's like it was tough. It definitely took a lot on me mentally. But then when Rhett and the guys came over, and then I came over a year after, man, it was just like a breath of fresh air, man. It kind of just reinstilled that confidence. Everybody, especially like today, people always ask like, what was the reason for your success at SMU, and kind of how come I didn't have it at Miami, or what was the big difference? Like, what was the biggest difference, or something like that? They'll ask me between me or whatever. So I just tell them like, it's confidence, man. Like Coach Tibbs, Coach Simons, Coach Rhett, like they really like instill confidence into me, to where it was like, man, like who cares if I go out here and mess up right now? Like I'm the guy, like I'm gonna be out here the rest of the game, So it was just having that like instilled back into me, like it literally just made my game take off.
Talked with Garen Justice a little bit. He was telling me about how you were unblockable on scout team. And so when you hit the portal, they were like, we got to have this guy. Nobody else knows about him. Mm-hmm. But can you talk a little bit about how you really capped off SMU's comeback to the national stage?
Man, I want to take, it's a team effort, obviously. It's a lot of guys who had a lot of things to do with it. I'm talking about even guys like my guy Frank, man, equipment guy. So just even like, it's a lot of people. Obviously, I mean, I was able to come in, be a leader on and off the field. I was able to help guys this past year, guys like Jared, Jafari, guys who came in a little later than us, and Bashad, who was just, just being able, because I was already here, and then I think after my first year, I'm pretty sure we lost like a good amount of dudes with the E-Chats, the Jay Millies, Nelly P. So it was a lot of guys who were gone, and we just had like a whole new D-line last year. It was a completely new team, completely new defense almost, to a certain extent. So it was just trying to like be the one that guys can lean on. I was obviously voted team captain, defensive captain, so it was just more of just trying to like actually step into that role, not just have the title, but actually be that, like actually be a captain, actually help guys. Because I'm not perfect myself, obviously, but and that's why we got guys like the McGills, the Osborns, the Kobe Wilsons, because it's like if I'm slacking, he could pick me up and vice versa. So, and then if the team's slacking as captains, we pick them up, and I think that's kind of why our team was just so good, man. Like so mature, had a very mature team. Like we didn't need extra motivation,
Things came together really well in 2023. Obviously, you have the AAC championship. You guys have that great return to the stage. But this year, being an ACC guy from the start for your career, what was that like? I mean, did you see that coming? Did you have an inkling that it was going to be that level?
Man, these past 2 years, man, I feel like a dream almost. Like one of those, like it happened so quick, but it was like so much happened in those 2 years, man. And from, like you said, the AAC year, and then going into this year, like nobody really knew what was gonna, happen. Like obviously, you're hoping for the best. Like we're not, looking at the schedule and say, oh, we're going to lose to, like any team. But, like just being realistic, like nobody thought that we were going to win as many games as we did. So it was just, and I don't think even some guys on the team probably thought that. So it was just, no, honestly, man. So
it literally hasn't been done what you guys did.
You know what I'm saying? So. And then, especially back-to-back seasons, like we had 2 really good seasons, man. It was really 2 really like just a lot of winning, and it's not easy to win, man. And just, I think that's a testament to our coaches and what they've been doing. But yeah, man, this past year really felt like a dream, man. The way we were able to win, and then some games we were winning by a lot against really good teams, So it's like, and then it's crazy, it's a lot, man. There's a lot.
You left some big shoes to fill. Who's somebody that you could see next year sitting in your seat here at East West Shrine?
Man, I could see guys like Cameron Robinson for sure. I could see Isaiah Smith have another great year. He had a pretty good season last year. And then interior, man, I could see guys like Jonathan Jefferson, even guys like Blake, man. He should step up this year and have a good year, man. But definitely on the edges, I could definitely see Billy, Cam for sure, Isaiah for sure. Those are all guys who are going to have really big years.
Which graduating guys, seniors, do you think got snubbed from either East West Shrine or one of the other senior bowls?
Man, that's too many, man. Oh, man. I heard Jared say Jafar, so I'll probably let's go DB. Let's go McGill, man. McGill, Kobe Wilson, Ahmad. Man, there's so many guys, man. The B Cross. Like, there's so many guys who got snubbed, man, for sure.
Yeah, you guys were loaded. It was so fun to watch.
Nice, man. It was good.
And now that you are taking those steps in the pro, what's it like talking with teams? What's the feedback they're giving you? Do they see you as somebody that can move up and down the line like SMU did with you?
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different teams who have different, views of me. Some teams like me as a stand-up guy. Some teams like me as an inside guy. And almost all of them like me as both, as a guy who could play outside first, second down, go inside third downs. Some, there's different fronts, there's 3-4 fronts and stuff like that. So some teams have me as a 5 technique / 4-eye in their defense. But honestly, man, I tell like every scout I meet, like I'm a football player. Like I could play football. Like I'm a very smart football player. Like and I'm a very physical football player. So I could do whatever you whatever you really need me to do. So I really don't mind.
The more you can do, the longer you'll be in this league, for sure. So with that being said, are there any guys in the league right now, or even past players that are retired, that you model your game after?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, being a bigger end, I definitely like to watch bigger guys, like a guy like a DeMarcus Lawrence, a Cameron Jordan, a Chris Jones, guys who are versatile, but who are bigger dudes, So guys like that who play all up and down the line, for sure.
You've been a hell of a role model for SMU. So many people look up to you. You've been one of the best leaders that we've had in a long time. It's been awesome watching you, man.
Yeah, ditto on that. It's been a blast. Hey, from the beginning, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll keep it going. We're going to miss your folks around, too.
Yes, sir.
We're going to miss you next year, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Of course, man, I'll come out to a game or two,
awesome.
Especially that Miami game, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Everybody's, exactly. Cool.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for doing this, Elijah.
Yes,
all right. So appreciative of those guys, spending all of that time with us during the Shrine Bowl week. A huge opportunity for them, Hayden. And they really just, got done with meetings and still met with us and all of that. And we got the picture and all of those things. So really appreciate Jared Harrison-Hunte and Elijah Roberts for their time with us at the On the Pony Express podcast.
Well, they did it for our listeners. You know, we were the two media guys hanging out during happy hour who were like, hey, would you mind taking 15 minutes for the fans? And they humored us and they were able to grant us that bonus interview, which we really appreciate that from those guys. But you said it a little bit, just the maturity from those guys, the fact that they were such big leaders for our football team. I mean, we'll get to 2025 here soon enough, but it is going to be really, really large shoes to fill for both of their spots.
Yeah. So we're going to have many more exclusive interviews, some interesting ones. So hang with us. We'll talk about some good moments for SMU. We'll talk about some guys with some ties to the area and interview some of those guys. So be on the lookout for that in future episodes. We've got a couple of interview-only episodes that we're dropping. But look, the ACC schedule and SMU schedule is all out, and it is the time to get a head start on planning for the 2025 season with our friends at Status Jet. Reach out to them today. Go to statusjet.com and mention On the Pony Express or the code PonyUpACC for a discount on a round-trip flight. They'll take care of you. They'll set up an incredible trip for you wherever the Mustangs are. So reach out to them and start planning today for the 2025 season. The schedule's out. The perfect time is now. So whether it's big plane, small plane, or even helicoptering from Dallas to Fort Worth, if you want to, they can hook all that up for you. So reach out to our friends at Status Jet today, proud supporters of SMU Athletics and the SMU Mustangs. All right, with that puts a wrap on this interview-only episode of the On the Pony Express podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed those interviews with Jared Harrison-Hunte and Elijah Roberts. For Hayden Howerton, I'm Billy Embody. Catch us next time on the Pony Express podcast, and head to onthePonyExpress.com where you can sign up for just $1 for your first week today.
Thanks for listening to the On the Pony Express podcast with Billy Embody. Follow us on your socials on X at SMU_on3 and on Instagram at On3SMU. And keep it locked to onthePonyExpress.com for more coverage.